Hello again, I am Jim Mob and welcome back to F1 Manager 22. We're with HAAS again. Season 2, Round 4. We're heading to Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Hello to everyone in the comments. We've got Patkins, Anthony, Manny, good to see you guys. Well, we have been having a fantastic season with HAAS so far. 3 straight 1-2s. This car and this driver lineup is absolutely phenomenal right now. Kevin Magnussen is just heading Fernando in the standings with 2 wins and a second against Fernando's 1 win and 2 seconds. They've had a fastest lap each. Kevin has 2 fastest laps to Alonso's 1, but Kevin has been out qualifying Alonso 3-0 so far. So he definitely has a slight edge over the Lord of the Eyebrows, but that could change. And we're heading to one of my all-time favourite circuits. It is such a great flowing track. It's hard to overtake, but just the nature of the circuit with its lovely flowing nature, the great change in elevation as you go out of Tosa up the hill, and then swoop back down the hill into Acqua Minerale. It's just a phenomenal circuit. And then that double right-hander of Ravazza at the end of the lap, again on a downhill trajectory. It's just a lovely flowing circuit to drive on. So you can see a mixture of high speed, medium speed and low speed corners. Now our car is fantastic in all of those departments. As you can see, we are very, very good in cornering. We have been eked back just a little bit by one of the teams. We are no longer top in terms of speed, or in the right up there. One of the teams has improved. I'm guessing it's Red Bull. Red Bull has still got the top speed, but something else has changed. Maybe it's Ferrari. Maybe Ferrari have brought an update here. Yeah, it looks like Ferrari have brought an update. They are a little bit faster in a straight line now. Their engine cooling looking pretty mighty as well. So we could be on for a real showdown with Ferrari this race. This is going to be pretty much dominated by one stop unless weather plays a factor. And we don't know exactly how that's going to shake out just yet. Let's take a quick look at our drivers. Alonso a long way from getting another point. His experience game very slow as he is at the end of his career effectively. Magnussen a little bit faster. As you can see, he's gaining about twice as much experience per race as Alonso is. We have been developing his pace stats quite nicely. We are going to continue working on his cornering, trying to get that up to 80, up to 90. Then we'll start probably working on his reactions a little bit. Or maybe we might have to put another couple of points in his control, because he has made a couple of mistakes. And the car is mighty fast, so the faster the car, the bigger likelihood of making mistakes, especially as he is a very aggressive driver, as you can see. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you. And of course we have been putting as much work into Logan as we can. He is getting in the car next year. We've been boosting his pace stats as much as we can. Once I'm happy with these, we will put the last few points into his smoothness, just to make his tyre strategies a little bit more flexible. Yeah, very much a building year, the final building year for Logan before he goes into the car for real next year. Let's take a look at our staff points. We are a little way off getting another point for Simone Resta. Jared just had a point recently, but he has got another one coming in a few weeks. And I think our engineers recently got points as well. Yeah, it's a long way off both of them getting extra points. Let's take a look at our pit crew. Still terrible. Their tyre changing is improving, but a lot of work needed to get these guys up to a competitive level. We are probably the worst pit crew on the grid, which isn't great. Facility upgrades. We have a car park test centre upgrade coming in 13 days. Our race sim will be refurbished in 15 days, and we have an upgrade to the team hub on the way as well. Beyond that, it's going to be a long while, I think, before we can go for the final design centre. Maybe, if we're lucky, we can try and drop that in towards the end of the season. but I mean, it's 32 mil. It's a very expensive upgrade, and we are going to have refurbishments, etc., that we have to deal with along the way. You can see we've already got a few here that are starting to dip quite substantially. I'm not going to worry about them yet, but at some point in the season they are going to have to be given a bit of a lick of paint, a bit of spit and polish. So let's go ahead and set our performance review targets. Guarantee, we will set those in a minute. The incentive is to get both cars in Q3. That's going to be comfortable enough. Obviously we're going to get both into Q2. I am going to go for the 1-2 in quali. I think we are going to be fast enough to get 1-2 here. In terms of the finish position, their incentive is 2 in the top 6. That should be pretty straightforward. We're going to go for the fastest lap. The quali streak, 2 in the top 8. We are halfway through that, and we can set a new finish position streak. And because it's a long-term streak, we're going to be a little bit more conservative. We're going to go 2 in the top 4 over 5 races.
The hills of Tuscany are green to the south, but here in Imola the air is red hot. Welcome to Ferrari's turf for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. The track has been around since the 60s, but the first official Formula One race was held here in 1980. Let's see what excitement lies ahead this year. This is Imola, and it's an old school track with plenty of elevation changes and lots of corners. There's only one DRS zone here, but it follows the long straight right before Tamburello and should see plenty of action. At this early stage in the season, there are still plenty of opportunities for things to change. In this sport, there simply are no guarantees. Let's get this underway.
So, we have good weather for the whole weekend. No rain to worry about. Kind of a little disappointed by that. I was hoping we might have a wet race, but we should be very strong in the dry. I'm doing good, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. Let's go with Logan in the first car. We are going to have different setups for these cars, as we usually do. I've got a multitude of setups to try. I'm going to go with quite a high front wing on this one, with a 12.5 rear, a 4.6 on the roll bar, 3.45 on the toe, on the camber, sorry, and then a 0.05 on the toe. And we'll see how that one shakes out. We're going to go with 19 laps of fuel. And then for Kevin's car, we're going to go with a very different setup. So we're going to go with a 7 front wing, a 3.7 roll bar, a 3.5 on the camber, and then a 0.10 on the toe. And let's see how that shakes out. Once again, 19 laps of fuel, drop the pace settings down, and in we go into practice.
And radio check when you can.
Radio's good.
Weather is really nice. Yeah, Manny, this weather is going to be ideal for racing conditions. We should really get the best out of the car this weekend. Actually, we could have gone with a few more laps of fuel looking at that, but that's okay. I'll bear that in mind for the second run. We can go at least 21 laps, I think. Right, let's, as always, tell them to avoid curbs and drive in clean air, just to protect the engine and components a little more. For those of you who missed it, it has now officially been confirmed by Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo has joined the team as their reserve for next season. Makes a lot of sense commercially. Gives Ricciardo an outside chance of maybe getting back into the team itself if things between Max and Perez continue to fall apart as they have done this season.
I think someone's run wide.
And of all the cars that he could get into, obviously it's an incredibly fast car, but I think that's the one that's going to suit Daniel's driving style the most. I think if any car is really going to suit his particular skill set, it's going to be that one. You know, he likes a car in a similar way to Max. You know, so the way that car has naturally been designed and evolved, I think of all the cars on the grid, if you take the performance itself out of the equation, the way that car handles, I think that's going to be the best option for Ricciardo. It just so happens to be the best car on the grid at the same time. It'd be really good to see Ricciardo get back into the team at some point in the future, just to have one last crack in a really good car, in a car that I think would really suit his style. Because when he's on it, in a car that he has full trust and faith in, he is fantastic, as we saw from his career at Red Bull before he left to go to Renault. Right, we've got an 87% with Magnussen, that's not too bad. Logan only has a 75%, so we've got quite a bit of work to do on that car. Let's call him in now. And the rear wing needs to change, so I'm going to go with a 13 rear wing. Go for that extra downforce and see if that helps. Front wing needs to change. Let's go with a 6.5, a 13. Change that to a 5.5. Push that to a 3.50 and that there. How does that shake things out? It's not quite enough on the traction or possibly the cornering. I do have one other setup that uses a 13 rear wing. That's a 6.4, a 6 on the front wing, a 3.4 and a 0. So let's have a look. That's quite a big change on the front wing. Everything else looks good, it's the front wing doesn't, so I'm going to have to push that front wing back a little bit. I'm going to try that, give that a little tinker, see how that shakes out. Okay, let's have a look at Magnussen's car. So rear wing's fine, traction needs to change, so we're going to go to a 6.4, sorry, a 4.6. What's the front wing at? 7. Let's go to a 7.5. Actually no, let's stay with a 7. Let's drop that back a little bit and drop that back a little bit. Let's see how that works. This is a setup that I've just put in that is a previous 100% setup, so hopefully that will trip in quite nicely as we send Logan out for his second run. And there goes Kevin. Let's have a quick look. Is anyone using a reserve driver apart from us? No, it is still just named drivers. I've only seen the AI tend to use their reserve drivers once or twice a season. Every now and again I spot one, you know, usually Giovinazzi in the Ferrari is the main one I spot, but yeah, it's very rare to ever see a rookie get into an FP1 session if they're with the AI. I'd like to see that a little bit more frequently. Okay, feedback coming for Logan. Let's have a look. %, so it is an improvement. We were kind of playing it by ear on this one. He's got his 500 points, so let's call him in. We'll make the changes to the car, and that's his session done. Magnussen is not far from getting his final feedback. So the front wing is off. Changing that will affect the rear wing, which is good, so that's what we want. Let's do that. Let's push the toe back to fix the braking stability. Everything else is small changes. Maybe that's it. Let's confirm the changes, and then we'll see how that works out for Fernando when he gets in the car in the next session. Kevin's at 97%, so again, a big improvement. It's not quite there, but it's not far off. We'll let him finish his run, and then that's it for this session for both drivers. So it's the cornering that needs to change. I hate it when it's just the cornering, because this can always be so tricky to try and nail down. Because the cornering, the camber, affects so many things, as you can see. And when you've got 4 optimals and 1 great, and the one thing that you need to change throws off the other 3 things as well, it can be a nightmare trying to get it back. I'm going to go with that and hope that that doesn't affect our traction too much. Yeah, whenever I struggle to get a setup nailed in, it's usually because it's the front wing on its own that's playing up and everything else is optimal, or more often it's the cornering, which means needing to change the camber, because changing those 2 variables affects so much else on the car that you can inadvertently break other optimals just trying to tweak that one value. Okay, so into the second session, we're going to go with a very long run for Fernando. So we're going to go with 42 laps of fuel on hard tyres. Kevin's going to go onto hard tyres, but he's not going to go for as long. He's going to go for about 30 odd laps. Let's go for 32 laps. And let's see how we do. Oh, a little wide just there. It's not too bad, but it has lost him a little bit of ground. I wonder if we're going to see any cars go ploughing into Tosa
They've run wide.
in this session. I'm surprised we didn't see one do it in session 1. This corner here, turn 7, that's Tosa. This is the one where everyone locks up and goes straight into those barriers there. It's been a pretty event-free practice session, or practice weekend so far. No crashes. No big spins. We've had a couple of people running wide, but no real drama. Maybe it's all waiting for the race. Alright, feedback time. 99% for Kevin, so we just need a little tweak of probably the toe to get that to 100%. We'll do that at the end of this run, and this is it for his session, this run. What about Alonso? %, so again, big step forward with the car. It's not quite there, but it's very close now. And we will probably keep Alonso out for an extra couple of laps at the end of this stint, just so that he gets the full session. Can work on that, getting that track knowledge up nice and quickly.
Someone's run wide.
Okay, that's Kevin done. And yeah, it is just a little tweak to the toe that's needed. We'll go that way and hope that that's what we need. We'll find out next session. Oh, we've got a VSC. Has someone gone into Tosa?
Was that a crash? Multiple cars, I think. Here's the replay. Okay, here's the Ferrari.
Oh no, this is Ravazza. Big lockup. Oh, he just spears that him straight into the barrier.
Who was in the wrong there?
That's got to be a retirement, surely. Yeah, Latifi is out. And that'll be a penalty for Charles Leclerc, I think it was. Or was it Sainz? Might have been Sainz. Again, Mercedes looking very strong here. A lot stronger than I was expecting them to be. It is still only practice, so these times don't necessarily mean that much, especially when you look at our times. But that is some pretty impressive pace there, if that is genuine. Just keep Alonso out till the checkered flag. He's got enough spare fuel. Yeah, it was Sainz who hit Latifi. You can see he's got that penalty. That'll be a 3-place penalty on the grid in qualifying. So that takes him out of contention for pole position.
We return for the next day of our highly anticipated race weekend, which sees the end of practice and the start of qualifying. Drivers will need to perform with remarkable consistency if they're to secure a strong position on tomorrow's grid. It's not just about one moment of brilliance. No, they'll need to prove over the course of qualifying that they have what it takes to occupy those coveted places. Strap yourselves in. This is Formula One.
So we need a little tweak to Fernando's car. It's the cornering, of course it is. Okay, let's go with that. Let's pull the toe back, and we just got to hope that that doesn't break our oversteer and our traction. We'll go with 21 laps and mediums. There we go. Kevin's car should be at 100% now. We're going to set him up for a 30 lap run, and hopefully that's all he'll need to do, but we can pull him in early if we need to tweak the setup a little. I probably should have taken him onto that first, never mind. We'll get Kevin to move over. There we go. Oh. Alonso's going to be quicker because he's got less fuel in the car. So we don't want him getting held up, slowing down his practice run. You can see him just pulling away from Magnussen there. Okay, did we get this right with Kevin's car? Yes, we did. Excellent.
Update when you can.
So we'll leave him running for another 10 minutes or so, then we'll pull him in. And that's his weekend finished. What about Fernando? We also got that spot on as well. Excellent stuff. It's going to take him a little while to get his track knowledge up. So I'm going to call him in now. And then we'll just put a bit more fuel in the car. There we go. And now we'll call Kevin in. And he is done. That is a full 100 for Kevin. Oh, we have had a crash.
There's been a crash.
Ah, there we go. Our first
Let's
car
take a
into Toaster.
closer look. Let's have a look here. This was the Aston Martin.
I'm surprised it took this long.
They've
There we
lost
go.
control, and there's the crash.
I get the feeling we're going to see that happen a fair bit in the race. Especially on the cars that have got bad brakes. Like the Aston Martin, the Williams. We might even see a Red Bull go in there. You never know. It's happened before. I'm just hopeful that we don't do that. Gasly showing some pace in his Alpine. Up in 4th place there. Well, 5th. Perez just knocked him down.
Who's running wide there?
Alonso leading a little train of cars here. He's going to be out the way now. Let's pull him in. There we go. Both drivers full knowledge, full setup confidence. The car pump knowledge will come in the next race. How you doing, Mr. Water? Good to see you. We are ready for quali. So, some interesting pace shown by Mercedes and Gasly's Alpine. Bottas up there again. Ocon a few tenths off. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with quali. You can see Albon is up there again in that AlphaTauri. He's doing well at that team so far. And of course, Sainz with that 3-place penalty for spearing Latifi, that rules him out of any chance of pole position. I reckon he's probably looking at around 7th or 8th after the penalty. Right. We are good on car parts. We don't need to change anything. Engines are a little worn, but because we've been looking after them so much, they're still in pretty decent shape. ERS modules are fine, and even the gearboxes are in decent shape as well. So, no parts will be changed. We're just going to go in as we are.
And radio check when you can.
Radio is good.
As always, we're going to try and do just a single run through the first 2 sessions. Try and save some tyres, just in case. So we'll wait for a window near the end of the circuit, at the end of the session. It'll be interesting to see if Norris gets his mojo back here. He has been beaten by Ricciardo recently, quite comprehensively. Let's see what happens to his weekend. Okay, we're getting close to our window to go out. Let's send them out in just a few seconds. There we go. Right, so out go our 2 drivers. Hopefully we're not going to have too big a gap between us going out and them going out. Otherwise we could catch the back of the field, which would not be good. I think we should just about be okay. It's not ideal. I think we'll be alright. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, so that's quite a nice little pace advantage that we have over the Ferrari. Alonso getting a very nice little tow all the way around the circuit there. We'll go out on the scrub tyres for the second session.
And radio check when you can.
Radio is good.
Let's hope for a clean run. Oh, that's not going to happen. At least we cleared Norris before he got out the pits. That's good. Vettel's going to get in the way, though. Oh, that could have gone worse. Those times will be enough to get us through. So, who's going to make the top 10? Who's going to get knocked out? We're going to definitely see improvements from Hamilton, I think. Possibly Vettel as well. Possibly Albon. Looks like he's getting held up, or has been held up. And Perez might have just been held up by Albon as well. So, some scruffy first runs for the AI here. As Verstappen getting held up by Russell and Leclerc there. Still manages 5th. So the cars in the drop zone, I would expect Hamilton to improve and Albon to improve. Vettel, I don't think he's going to get through, but I don't know. It's quite a close field. That upper midfield battle is very tight, so anything could happen here. We could even see a car go in the wall, which would ruin pretty much everyone's laps behind him. Nope, looks like it's going to be a clean run for everybody. And it is Norris, Ocon, Ricciardo, Albon and Vettel getting eliminated. They join Stroll, Zhou, Schumacher, Tsunoda and Latifi. Interesting. So, both HAAS, both Ferraris, both Red Bulls, both Mercedes, one Alpine and one Alpha making it into the top 10 shootout. Just a reminder, Sainz has that 3-place penalty. We're going to go with fresh tyres and we're going to wait to the end of the session before we make our run. And we're going to try and put a little bit of separation between our two drivers, just so that one of them doesn't slipstream the other one. Let them fight it out equally. Okay, the field's starting to go out. We are going to ride on board with Kevin. He's out-qualified Alonso 3-0 so far this season. Can he make it 4? Or is Alonso going to get his first pole of the season? As Leclerc starts his hot lap. Okay, so Alonso onto his flying lap. Kevin just about to start his. Leclerc on his way down into Ravazza to finish his lap. So we head into Tamburello. Alonso purple. And Magnussen takes it as we go into Tosa. So Magnussen slightly faster than Alonso at this stage. As we sweep down the hill towards the Acqua Minerale. Alonso again gone purple in the middle. What can Magnussen do? Magnussen slightly slower than Alonso in the middle sector. It's neck and neck between these two. Alonso going through Ravazza now. And onto the start-finish straight as we go down the hill into Ravazza. Alonso crosses the line, goes pole with a 1:14.6. And Magnussen can't beat him. So Alonso gets his first pole position of the season. How you doing, Olivia? So there we go. 1-2. Leclerc finishes third. Sainz fourth, but he has got that 3-place penalty. So that means Verstappen, Hamilton and George are all going to move up an extra place. And Sainz is going to start 7th.
The time has come for these drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel. Race day has arrived.
The big winners of qualifying were certainly HAAS. Now it's on them to demonstrate that they can finish strongly in the race as well. We saw a reasonably good qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they certainly have a good chance to capitalize during the race. And the sky is looking grey and cloudy today. An effective tyre strategy could prove very valuable as the race plays out.
And seeing it all come together is sure to be a thrill. An exciting race ahead for us here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
So, what strategy do we go for? We could just go for the one stop. It is very effective around this track, but I am toying with the idea of a soft, medium, soft. Let me have a look. At that. That is slower. But I do like the potential extra pace. And I could run those mediums quite long. I wonder, actually, let me... If I were to do this, just to see, could I stretch them? Oh, it'd be really tight. don't think we could really pull that off. It's doable, but I don't think we could pull that off. I think I'll go with this strategy. If we get an early safety car, we can adapt and change. If we get a safety car about halfway through our medium stint, we can adapt and change. If we can stretch the softs, we could go softs to mediums and then very quickly back onto softs. Or we could go, if it's an early safety car, we go early onto mediums and then another set of mediums at the end. We're going to go with that. We're going to be flexible, I think, with this strategy. We're certainly going to have the pace to pull away at the start of the Grand Prix. So let's go with that. And we'll be very fast at the end of the Grand Prix as well. When everyone's on aging hards or even mediums, we will have the softs to really, put the power down if we need to and guarantee fastest lap. So yeah, let's go with that. I'm going to take a lap of fuel out because we're going to be able to control the pace quite comfortably, I think, on these tyres. We are going to start aggressively, as we usually do when we're at the front. Try and sprint away a little bit, get into a rhythm, and let's see how we do.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid, and it's looking like a cloudy day. Looking here at Fernando Alonso. They're in pole position, and they've got to be happy about that. Then we have Kevin Magnussen. A second place start for them today. They're in with a real chance. Everything's been building to this. The crowd are on their feet in anticipation of this, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Okay, good start for Alonso. Leclerc looking a bit tasty off the line. Magnussen holds him off. And now we have a lap and a half to 2 laps of sprinting to try and break away from the Ferrari. See Mercedes swapping positions as they go side by side up the hill. Alonso seems very happy with his Aston car for next season. Yeah, he was pleasantly surprised at the power steering in particular. It was a problem he had with the Alpine, which really hampered him in parts of the season. And he was very forthcoming in terms of speaking to Aston about, proactive about wanting potential changes for that. And when he got in the car, he was quite happy, quite pleasantly surprised to find that, he was quite comfortable in there. And given how they did sort of, just stealthily, quietly progress throughout the season, Aston could be in with a shout of a decent performance next year. Because let's face it, at the start of this season they looked awful, and they finished the season in a pretty good position, in terms of where they sat pace-wise on the grid. I do think they are hampered by the fact that they still got Stroll though. He just isn't consistent. He has little flashes of talent, but I think long term it hurts them having him in the car. Okay, let's calm things down before we eat what's left of the battery. We'll slow down the fuel and tyre burn as well. Three and a half seconds is a good little lead.
And we need some lift and coast.
We've got another lap before the DRS really kicks in, because it won't activate, although it'll activate as we cross the line, it won't kick in until we cross the line next time. So we should have a 4-second gap hopefully by then. if not more. Let's get some some battery into Magnussen's car while he's in the slipstream.
And charge button on. Charge button on.
Copy.
And let's have a look at tyres. So we are going to have a significant pace advantage on these tyres for a while over the hard runners, and not quite a significant pace advantage over the medium runners. Ricardo, the next of the soft runners, is down in 12th. So we've got to try and make good time if we're going to make this strategy work, because we are going to be doing a two-stop, and the majority of the field, if not the rest of the field, is going to do a one-stop here. They're going to go hards to mediums or hards to softs, and mediums will go to the hards. Ricardo might well go hards to the end once he pits, as will the other soft starters. We're the only team, I think, that's going to do the two-stop, and we've got to be careful where we feed out in traffic. So we're going to lose about 25 seconds, I think, on the pit stop here. So if we have a look at the gap, we've got to keep an eye on how we're doing against the rest of the field and see if we can find that window to slot in without getting held up too much. If we get stuck in very slow traffic, then that is going to ruin the strategy, and we're going to have to push the cars harder than I'd like to get back into a window. Okay, so we are eking out that gap as you would expect being on the softs. Magnussen not really threatening Alonso at the moment because he is charging up, so he closes up under DRS and then just slowly drifts back again throughout the rest of the lap, not getting that battery acceleration out of the corners. That's fine. Once he gets up to full, we will put him into neutral, we'll get him past Alonso, and then we'll start charging Alonso up. And then we'll just let them fight each other. So we've got a train of Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell in 3rd to 5th. A little gap to Sainz, who has now got past Hamilton, up to 6th. Perez has dropped off the back of those two as well. He's got Gasly for company. And then Norris leads Ricciardo, Bottas, Ocon, Stroll, Albon, Vettel and Zhou in a train. Schumacher has dropped off at the back of them and is not going to be able to catch them now. Tsunoda all over the back of Nick, and Latifi a long way back already. Okay, so neutral now for Kevin.
And it will be charge button off.
Copy.
And there we go. A nice easy swap of positions. We can get Alonso charged up now. Sainz has caught up to the chasing pack. Hamilton almost in range, just on the edge at the moment. Perez still a little way off. But Hamilton, I think, is being dropped. Yeah, he's going to fall back into the clutches of Perez, I think. I don't think he's going to have enough pace to get back, unless there's a slow braking here at the chicane, or going into the final, corner of Ravazza. I don't think Hamilton's going to get back in DRS here. Yeah, so Hamilton is going to start dropping back quite quickly now. I think he'll fall into the clutches of Perez and Gasly. Can Gasly get the overtake? He can. And you can see just how much time you lose if you drop out of the DRS on this track. You lose so much time. And it's so hard to get back in. You can absolutely destroy your tyres trying to get back in if you drop out. Let's take a look at tyres. So Hamilton, the first of the hard runners, so that's actually not too bad. He's not that far off the chasing pack. Gasly, Perez behind him are also on the hard tyres, so they'll all be able to work together as a group. The medium runners, there's only 4 of them. That is unusual. All working together as a group. And then the guys on softs further down, Ricciardo, Stroll, Vettel, Zhou, they're going to kind of get screwed over a little bit here because they're stuck. Ricciardo has now got past Norris, but Norris is probably going to keep overtaking him in the DRS straight, so every lap he spends behind Norris, he's losing the ground. He's not able to push as fast as his tyres would normally do. Alonso now pretty much fully charged. We'll wait till we get to Aqua Minerale again before we put him back into neutral. There we go. And because we got Alonso to move over and let Magnussen through, we're going to return the favour. And then we'll let them fight. Okay, couldn't get the move done there. There we go. Right, so they are now free to fight. See that 4-car battle. Hamilton now 3 seconds behind that group. Perez and Gasly are swapping places, but I don't think they quite have the pace of Hamilton, so they haven't caught up yet, despite overtaking each other. Let's ride on board with Russell. We've got this 4-car battle to look at. Let's take a look at lap times. So yeah, Hamilton doing a 120.8. Perez and Gasly 121.1s. They are not catching enough. They're not catching at all at the moment. You see Ricciardo again, having been repassed by his teammate, is now lapping slower than he could possibly be lapping on those softs. Starting on softs on this circuit is not great unless you are very aggressive in the opening stint to try and punch through as many places as quickly as possible to get onto faster cars. Or you're starting near the front and you can drive off and create a gap. If you start on softs halfway down and you don't push, you're just wasting those tyres. You're better off starting on the mediums or the hards. So, a 120.6 for Alonso, a 120.7 for Verstappen, so we are about the same pace as the medium runners behind us, but we are running on a slightly reduced pace, just to protect the engines a bit more. That will also help us save fuel a little bit quicker as well. And we have a nice comfortable 7.5 second gap between Alonso in second and Leclerc in third, so no need to panic. Right, we're way off pit stops yet, but let's take a look at the leader times and see where we would kind of feed in. At the moment we're looking to feed in somewhere around about 18th. So there's still a long way to go before we make our stops. We do not want to be pitting until we absolutely need to. As Russell has a little wobble.
Take a look now. Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell.
He gets away with it, but he may potentially damage his underfloor by doing that. So we have a quick look at a pit prediction. Well, pit windows are coming up. Yeah, we're looking at an estimated position of 17th. So actually maybe we're only going to lose about 23-24 seconds then. Okay, with that knowledge in mind, we are going to extend these tyres for a few laps. If we're 3 laps out from our window, that means we're 6 laps out from our planned stop. Probably going to go 7 laps, probably going to go to lap 20-ish. We're predicted for lap 19 for Alonso, 20 for Kevin. I might go to 20 and 21. Or 21 and 22. We're going to give Alonso priority on pit stops this race because he qualified on pole. And that's how we're going to do it going forward, unless... yeah, when they're side by side like this, or nose to tail like this. But unless there's enough of a gap that we can pit them both on the same lap without holding each other up. Okay, with these guys fighting like this, there is a chance that we are going to get ahead of them if we were to pit now. Obviously, we've still got a few laps to go yet. We've got a lock-up in Sector 3. That is... who is that?
They've locked up and gone
It's Russell.
straight on.
Russell's struggling
Let's take a
again.
look at
That's
the
another
replay.
error for
Now,
him.
just watch the Mercedes here.
Yeah, he goes
And
straight
there's
on
the
there.
lock-up. It almost got away from them entirely.
Is that going to drop him back into Hamilton's clutches?
And the team...
Not quite. He is close though. And Russell now 3 seconds off that group. He's not going to be catching them. And that gap is still between 1.5 and 2 seconds to Hamilton from Perez and Gasly. Now overtaking still hasn't caught them up, although this is the closest I think Perez has been for a little while. If they can leapfrog again without holding each other up on the next lap, and then maybe the lap after that, they'll be on Hamilton. But if they hold each other up, he'll get away again. Okay, pit window for Alonso opens next lap. So we're planning to extend slightly. As Leclerc sweeps past Verstappen, retakes second. And Ricciardo is in, and so is Stroll. So the first of the soft runners into the pits. In fact, all of the soft runners are coming in by the look of it. Never really got a clear look. I think he went on to hard tyres. Oh, he's got mediums. Okay, so Ricciardo's two-stopping. What about Stroll? Zhou is two-stopping. So is Vettel. Is Stroll two-stopping as well? He is. So we've got other cars two-stopping. I did not expect that. They're mimicking our soft, medium, soft strategy by the look of it. I really did not expect. I thought we would be the only team to go with the soft, medium, soft. We might be actually. They might go soft, medium, medium. But they are definitely two-stopping. There's no way in hell they're going to make those tyres last all the way to the end of the race. Okay, as we are getting to the pits, I'm going to stick to the original laps. We are starting to lose a little bit of time now to the medium runners, so we're going to turn off the engine save and just start to speed up again. Let's see where we would shake out on pit stops. We're going to come out around 12th place, around Ocon. If we can push for a couple of laps at this pace and pick things up a little bit, we could potentially come out ahead of Norris. We need to gain another couple of seconds. I'm tempted to use battery. Get them to push. Yeah, let's do it. Let's try and jump Norris. If we can do that, our strategy is golden for the rest of the race.
And box diesel up. Box.
Box.
Charge button on.
Copy.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there. Let's see what happened there. Let's take another look. There we have Joe. They've gone wide. They won't be happy about that.
Damn it, I am on mute. Thank you, Mr. Water. How long was I not talking? Okay, Alonso is going to get out just ahead of Magnussen. So we're going to repeat what we did at the start. We're going to get our drivers to charge each other up. But we pulled out enough of a gap there to be able to slot our guys in beautifully ahead of the pack of Ocon, Bottas and Norris. So all that really intelligent, willing commentary I was giving, completely missed. It's not the first time I've done that. Yeah, we're just going to use Alonso's natural pace, running in neutral. He's got a lot of battery to refill. Kevin's going to refill his and just kind of hang behind him. Shouldn't really threaten him. He will naturally drop back. In fact, actually, let's just make it easier so he doesn't start forcing Alonso into defensive driving. Help speed up how quickly Alonso can catch Gasly. And once he does, he can then start charging himself once he gets into DRS range. We now have a significant tyre advantage over the medium runners, and they are starting to pit. Sainz in. He's got to be going for HAAS to the end, surely. It is early though, 23 laps. Maybe he's going to have a quick splash and dash at the end with a set of HAAS. I know splash and dash doesn't really work. It's an old term back when we used to have very quick splash and dash pit stops, when they would just put in just a quick squirt of fuel at the end. But Sainz gets out ahead of Albon. We have now just about caught the back of Perez, and Magnussen is now fully charged. So let's go into neutral. Let's turn
Charge
off
button off.
his don't
Copy.
fight teammate. We'll turn on Alonso's charge. Let's see how long till anyone else pits. As I say, Sainz went very early, a lot earlier than I was expecting for the mediums to pit. I don't think his tyres were in that bad shape either. Oh, Kevin nearly getting run onto the grass there. But he is going to force the position. Up the inside of Tosa. And now Verstappen pits. So Leclerc continuing for another lap. And those are hard tyres on Verstappen. So Russell has caught up with Hamilton, or Hamilton's caught up with Russell, those two swapping places, but they are 7.5 seconds behind Leclerc now. And you can see this fight here holding us up a little bit as we are trying to move back up through the field. And these guys are on hard tyres, so we do need to pick these guys off quickly, because they could ruin our strategy if we get stuck behind them for too long. Let's put Kevin into overtake. Let's try and get alongside on the run down to Ravazza. Russell pits. We can't get Magnussen through, unfortunately. Oh, Perez goes wide, but hangs onto it.
Oh, they've run wide! Let's have a look. So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez. They're way off the racing line there.
Did he
That
damage his
isn't
underfloor
good.
doing that? Alonso is now ready to join the battle. As Magnussen, I think, gets through. Yes, he does.
You are doing a good job.
Excellent stuff.
Is that a new race position for Haas?
Let's try and get Alonso through as well. Beautiful.
Haas with an overtake.
And Leclerc has finally pitted. He comes out just ahead of Verstappen and Sainz. Oh no, Verstappen gets him into braking. Verstappen takes him there through going through Tamburello. Beautiful move. And we missed it, but Magnussen has got past Gasly now. Let's have a look.
All eyes on Kevin Magnussen.
Looks like he got him going into Tosa. Yep, up the inside. Little defensive switch from Gasly stopped him from being passed by Alonso as well.
The team watching on and clearly loving that.
And there we go. Straightforward overtake for Alonso. He completes the move. And now we're going to get Magnussen to push as well. And we're going to try and break away from these two.
Copy.
Hamilton leads, but the gap is now just 2.5 seconds. We are hunting him down, and we have now pulled away from Gasly. That's good stuff. So let's slow down Alonso, slow down Magnussen. Let's put Alonso into harvest. Alonso on for a new fastest lap here. And gets it.
We are the fastest car on track.
Magnussen took fastest lap and immediately lost it to Magnussen. It wasn't even close, look, it was 0.7 of a second. Okay, let's get him to sit behind. We've got such a pace advantage at the moment that I am going to start protecting the engine again. I want to try and use this engine in Miami as well, so I don't want to wear it out too much here. Normally I would put in a fresh engine at that circuit, but I want to hold off. Maybe even use this engine in Barcelona as well, if it's in decent enough shape. Alright, Kevin is now in harvest range.
Charge button on, charge button on.
Copy.
And now we need to see whether or not Hamilton is going to go for mediums or hards when he makes his pits. Sorry, mediums or softs when he makes his stop. If he pits in the next sort of 8 to 10 laps, he's going to go mediums. If he goes beyond lap 40, he's probably going for softs. So if he goes around another 15 laps, that'll be a soft. As we come up to our first lapping, no, second lapping I think. No, first lap car, yeah. Latifi, who is a long way off the back of the battle with his teammate. As Magnussen moves into the lead, Alonso all over the back of Hamilton. Yellow flag in sector
2. We've just had a car run wide. Let's take a closer look.
And it's a
Taking
little
look
wide
again,
there in
it
Aqua
involves
Minerale.
Sebastian
Holds the
Vettel.
position.
Goodness me, they're completely off the racing line.
Okay, Alonso is now almost completely fully charged. Just going to leave him another few corners. Kevin's not too far off either. In fact, even in this reserve mode for Magnussen, he still almost broke the DRS to Hamilton there.
Will be charge button off, charge button off.
Hamilton blocking Alonso there, a little bit of defensive driving. Let's see if we can get him into Tosa. Not quite. Hamilton just covering the inside line there. Actually, no, I don't want to push the overtake going into Ravazza here, because Hamilton is out of DRS range now, so we want to make the pass nice and clean with DRS. And there we go, we've actually got around the outside. We'll get the better launch. We'll have the DRS. And there we go.
Haas with an overtake.
So let's break away from Hamilton now. Don't want to bring him back into the fight. Okay, there we go. We're close enough to Magnussen to pick up the DRS, which means we can get him recharged again. And far enough away from Hamilton that he's no longer a threat. Leclerc is finally clear of Bottas. Sainz has been really struggling to get through here. Look at him, he's all the way down in 11th place. It's that battle from Bottas down. Leclerc got through it and managed to break away from it. Everyone else is still stuck at the back of it. So there you can see Leclerc in clean air now, able to push at his own pace. Gap's up to 2 seconds now. And there's Verstappen stuck behind Bottas and Ocon. And Sainz trying desperately to get past Norris. So things not going well for the Ferraris, Sainz in particular, who recovered well after that 3-place penalty at the start of the race. But he did make that stop onto Haas very early, so he may have to stop again. Who locked up?
Looks like there's been a lock-up. Let's take a look at
Stroll.
the replay.
That's
Let's have a look.
Ravazza, isn't it? Into the gravel.
That lock-up could have cost them dearly.
Right, let's take a look at tyre wear. So Sainz's tyres 80% compared to the other guys who stopped a bit later than him. Verstappen's at 83, Leclerc's 86. That's not too bad. Sainz might well be able to stay out actually. But you can see Norris on the 50% tyres really is causing problems for Sainz. He's hanging into this group because of DRS. But those tyres are definitely past their best. Same with Ocon and Bottas. They are holding up Verstappen and they're DRSing each other, which is stopping Verstappen from making an easy pass. We've had a crash.
I think that was a crash.
Schumacher
Let's see
into
what
Tosa,
happened there.
into the
Let's have a
barriers.
look here. This was the Aston Martin.
Did he hit anyone else, or is he leading that pack? Oh, he's leading the pack.
There's the crash.
If he was the car at the back, that could have been 3 cars taken out there. C-Max once again not able to make the move because Bottas getting DRS off the back of Ocon. Norris getting DRS off the back of Verstappen. Norris isn't necessarily the problem here. It's more the fact that there's two cars with crap tyres in front of Verstappen. And because Verstappen can't punch his way through, it's allowing Norris to stay with him. Schumacher pits. He was one of the first guys to make a stop, and he has gone soft, hard, soft. Sorry, soft, medium, soft. So that means Hamilton will probably go for soft. If Mick's going for soft at this early stage, Hamilton might well do the same. Expect to see Ricciardo coming in soon. Who else made an early stop? Tsunoda, Albon. Yeah, all these guys on 50%, they're going to be stopping soon. And they're going to be stopping around the same time as the back group of medium runners, Ricciardo, Stroll and Vettel and Zhou. They're all going to be pitting within a few laps of each other by the look of it. It's going to get a little bit chaotic in the pits. We're going to just start saving a little bit of fuel. And Verstappen has got past Ocon. Can he get past Norris now?
Copy that.
Sorry, Bottas, not Norris. Another lockup. That's at the chicane. That's Ricciardo, I think. As Verstappen finally clears this group, but he's lost 6.5 seconds to Leclerc.
Now look at this. Daniel Ricciardo involved here. Well, they've locked up. They won't have been happy about that.
And Ricciardo into the pits. Did he damage those mediums? Possibly. No, Stroll, Vettel are all pitting at the same time. Again, pitting slightly earlier. Oh, they're going mediums. Ah, interesting. Stroll also going for mediums. And so is Vettel. And so is Zhou. So, a lot of flurry of those guys going, they're going soft, medium, medium. Given that Schumacher is on the softs, maybe they didn't have a set of brand new softs, and you know, Mick obviously did. Maybe that's why they've gone mediums for their third set of tyres. As we are coming up to lap Sebastian Vettel here. Get them to stop holding position. We are getting close to pit stop windows again now. Both our guys are through. And now Alonso is free to attack his teammate. Are we going to see an overtake here? got him covered, I think. Ooh, side by side into braking. There's still side by side coming out of Tamburello there. Magnussen just ahead. And Vettel having a cheeky look at the inside there into Toso. He's lapped, he can't do that. Not at the moment anyway. That will become potentially an issue with the December update, which is going to allow cars to unlap themselves. Is there going to be a period of time where they have to stay behind before they can start fighting? Because otherwise you could overtake a car and then it could just overtake you again in the next corner, and then you could just keep leapfrogging each other and just holding each other up. It's going to be interesting to see how that works, whether there's a set tolerance of speed difference or lap time difference that allows, you know, in terms of potential lap time given the tyres, that's going to allow a car to unlap itself. I'm curious as to how that is going to work. Unlapping behind a safety car, that's easy, that's straightforward enough. But unlapping during racing, which is also supposed to be included in the patch, yeah, it's going to be, it could work, it could be a bit chaotic. We will not know until we actually get hands-on with that patch. So we start hunting down Lance Stroll. Gap to Hamilton now up to 8 seconds. Perez been caught by Leclerc. Gasly already been passed. Verstappen 6 seconds off the back of Gasly. He's pulled out 4 seconds on Bottas and Ocon, who have still yet to pit. And with Norris there as well, that's 3 cars now on slow hard tyres that are holding up their sights. His race has been absolutely ruined here. Russell, has he pitted onto new tyres? Or did he just have a wobble and drop back? Yeah, no, he just must have dropped back. He's also now, you know, being held up badly by Norris, Ocon and Bottas. Okay, we can turn off the fuel saving now. Oh, Sainz getting boxed in by Russell. Oh, it's just chaos. And Sainz is overtaken. Oh, it's just going from bad to worse for the Spaniard here. I've never noticed the little wing flaps, little airlets on the or little winglets on the roll bar of the Ferrari before. I'm going to extend the lap or two. As Hamilton pits, Perez pits, Gasly pits. Okay, what tyres are they going on to? Hamilton's out on fresh softs, and so is Perez, and so is Gasly. Bottas and Norris finally pit, and so does Albon. This is going to release Russell and Sainz, although they are still stuck behind Ocon. Softs. Oh, this could be horrible for Sainz. If Sainz ends up having to pit again, the fact that these guys are going to be out on softs and he's still stuck behind Ocon on slow hards is going to completely ruin any chance he had of moving up through the order quickly. So there we go, Norris, Bottas, Albon, all pitting, all going onto softs. Sonoda pits. He's got to be going soft as well. As our cars are about to come through, we are going to do our pit stops now. Alonso currently in the leads. So we'll probably pit Magnussen first. Unless Magnussen overtakes him. Magnussen has overtaken him. So that we might well just stick with Magnussen first then. We'll see again how things shake out as we get around.
And box now, box.
They might swap position again.
Copy box.
Leclerc getting held up a little bit there. I think the Ferraris and Verstappen are staying out. Their tyres are certainly good enough to go through to the end, as are Russell's. But Hamilton and Perez are going to be very quick on those softs. Okay, that is Magnussen, so we are going to keep Alonso out for one more lap. Give him the benefit of DRS. Nice straightforward stop, 3 seconds, that's pretty decent for our team. Where are we going to feed out? We're feeding out behind Leclerc and behind Verstappen as well. So we are going to have to fight back for position. What's the gap to Leclerc? About 6 seconds. That's not too bad. No, not even that. About 5.5 seconds. We have brand new soft tyres. We have fuel to potentially play about with. We have a full battery. As Alonso comes in. Sainz and Russell now have cleared Ocon, who still hasn't pitted yet. Don't tell me Ocon's going to the end again. On old tyres. Surely he must have learnt that doesn't work. You know, from his mishaps in Adelaide, in Melbourne. Alonso's going to get out. Is he going to get out in front of Verstappen? Oh, Verstappen just squeezes between the two HAAS cars. Ooh, that was close. That was a beautiful bit of driving from Verstappen there to squeeze himself through. And Ocon finally pits. He's got to be going onto softs. He is. Let's see this move again.
Just watching the Red Bull.
Great little move there. Right, back to the action. Our guys are swarming all over the back of Verstappen. Look at this. It's just a matter of time, surely. I get nervous when I see, you know, cars so close to each other like this. Just one little lock up and it's game over. Alonso gets through. Can Magnussen follow him? No, he can't. We are not getting involved in team orders. We're letting them fight. We've done the last round of pit stops. We're not even going to close them back up to each other. We're just going to leave things as they are. Any team orders that we inflict on one car, we will inflict on both. So when I do potentially drop Alonso's tyre pace down, I will do the same to Magnussen at the same time. No advantages for either driver here. Oh, look at the traffic that our guys are having to fight their way through. First Schumacher, now is that S02 or is that Latifi being lapped for a second time? I think that's Latifi. Magnussen makes the move at the chicane. That's going to give Verstappen DRS. Can he hold him back? If he can hold him back, he'll break it over the next lap.
HAAS with an overtake there.
Here comes Max. He's not getting through this lap. We've had a lock-up in Sector 2.
Oh, and that's a crash.
Oh, Vettel's gone into Tosa.
Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one.
Yeah, it just pinches that front left and that's it.
There.
Car straight into the wall. $14 laps to go, including this one. Alonso 3.5 seconds behind Leclerc and closing. Magnussen pulling away from Verstappen. Oh, did he break the DRS? I think Verstappen just about hung in there. Let's see. No, he did not get DRS. His wing is still closed. And he is not closing. Yeah, Verstappen did not get DRS, so he has been dropped. So it's game on again between Magnussen and Alonso. Alonso is going to, lose a bit of ground to Magnussen when he gets into the back of the Leclerc, unless he can pass Leclerc straight away. If he gets stuck behind him for a few laps, Magnussen will be right on him again. Are there any other battles? Sainz has caught up to... No, Sainz is still with Russell, but they are catching back up to Hamilton. They're just 1.4 seconds behind him now. fact, no, Hamilton pitted on softs, didn't he? So Hamilton has passed both of them and pulling away from them. Can Hamilton catch Verstappen in the remaining 11 laps? I think he can. Well, it's going to have 12 laps actually, because we've just started. So yeah, 12 laps to go. He's lapping about 7/10 of a second faster than Verstappen. Hamilton's tyres are starting to fade though. So, maybe not. Maybe Verstappen will hang on. There is a big pace difference between softs and hards, but, you know, obviously the hard tyres are a lot more durable, especially around here. Alonso is now on the back of Leclerc. He's in DRS range. Magnussen just under 2 seconds behind. And we have got grip for days on our tyres because we've been looking after them so well. We have had a lock-up, sector 3. I think that might be Bottas. No, it's Vettel. I wasn't sure which one of the Alphas it was. It's Vettel.
Taking a look again, it involves Sebastian Vettel. It's a lock-up, and that could be costly. And that was a bitter blow for the team.
Alonso all over the back of Leclerc now. Magnussen lost a couple of tenths because he was not in DRS, and Alonso was, but now Alonso is going to get held up. He's going to have to lap to Leclerc's pace until he can get through. This is going to let Magnussen bring that gap right down. Can he catch before Alonso gets through? He's taken half a second out of that in just a few corners. He's going to be in DRS range. There we go, that's less than a second into braking. There's the DRS line. We now have a three-way fight for the lead with 10 laps to go. Alonso sweeps through nice and early on the straight. That's going to give him the chance to break away from Leclerc over the rest of the lap. Magnussen could potentially get held up again.
HAAS with an overtake.
There isn't a lot of traffic ahead. There's Zhou and then Stroll a fair bit further up the road, and then another bit of big gap to Ricciardo, so not a lot of traffic to get involved in this fight. And Alonso has already broken the DRS to Leclerc, which means he's safe from Leclerc fighting back, but it also means Magnussen should be able to make a clean overtake on Leclerc, close up on Alonso, and over the course of the lap break the DRS to Leclerc as well, if he can get the pass done nice and early. Oh, he can't get past. He's blocked. So Leclerc might have to spend another lap. No, Magnussen might have to spend another lap behind Leclerc here, unless he can get him into Tosa if he goes up the inside. No, he's not making the move there. There aren't many overtaking opportunities. The last one really is into Ravazza at the end of the lap, but if you do that too early, you give your opponent the DRS. If you get to the DRS line first, it's always a risk to overtake there. You can sometimes get an overtake done through this chicane coming up, but again, it's not a great place to do it. You almost certainly give DRS to your opponent. You want to be just alongside, but just behind, going into Ravazza to make the move nice and early and still have the DRS. He's got the DRS. Can he get the launch? He sells Leclerc a dummy. He goes left and cuts back to the right. He swoops through, and he should now be able to break away from Leclerc over the course of the lap, but he is 2.5 seconds behind Alonso. I don't think he's going to have enough pace to catch. Alonso has been pretty quick all weekend. He got pole. He's currently holding the fastest lap. I want to drop their tyre pace down to purple, to the lowest setting, but I want to make sure we are clear of Leclerc before I do that. And I can't do that to Alonso without hurting his chances against Magnussen, which we said we wouldn't do. So I've got to wait till Magnussen is comfortably clear. So another couple of laps yet before we can do that. Again, just looking to save what's left of the engines. Try and squeeze at least one more race, maybe 2 more races out of them. And who knows, if they are good enough, we could maybe possibly stretch them into Monaco as well. We've broken the DRS. Leclerc now isolated in 3rd. One more lap. And then we can slow the tyre pace down. Because then we have time to react if Leclerc starts to close in again. Which I don't think he will, but better safe than sorry. No point needlessly throwing away a 2nd place here. Hamilton now 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds behind Verstappen. I don't think he's got enough life left in his tyres to close that gap up any further. 50% on his tyres. They are now, in terms of life left, worse than the hards. They're still quick tyres, but I don't think he's going to do it. Yeah, he was only 0.2 of a second, well, 0.5 of a second faster last lap. So I think Verstappen is comfortable now in 4th place. Hamilton's 5th. What about Sainz? Sainz lapping about the same pace as Verstappen, so it looks like the only real fight now is between Sainz, Russell and Perez and Gasly in the fight for 6th. Let's go ahead and drop the tyre pace down, and we'll keep an eye on the gap between Magnussen and Leclerc. As Russell leads this little group at the moment. Who has the best tyres in this little group here? Russell. Russell has the best tyres. Perez and Gasly do have the softs, which will give them good traction, but with such little life left in them, I think Russell's tyres are probably the best ones to be on out of that little group. Leclerc did not close in on that last lap. So our boys are just going to keep running this engine mode. Perez and Russell side by side. We're going to ride on board with Sainz. And this is why I've never noticed that little winglet on the sides of the roll bar, because they're obscured by the driver boxes at the bottom. You can't really see them unless you know that they're there. Whereas when you look on that camera, they're very plain to see. And I tend to spend most of my time when I'm riding on board in this camera. It also, I don't know if it bugs anybody else, but it bugs me that that Shell logo is slightly off centre. I don't know. It's obviously there's supposed to be another sponsor on the opposite side. Or that's a space for another sponsor, but there isn't one. So just, it looks weird with that off centre like that. As Perez overtakes Russell through Tamburello. Magnussen not able to close down Alonso. In fact, I think he's lapping slightly slower, and Leclerc has dropped back a little bit further, although that might be he got held up by Zhou as he was lapping him. And Sainz now being overtaken by Gasly. There is still life in those soft tyres. Hamilton just 3 seconds behind Verstappen now. Is he going to get him? There's a car between the two of them. It is one of the Williams, I think. It's hanging onto the back of Verstappen right now, under DRS. But if that drops back, it will give a DRS bridge to Hamilton, which might allow him to get onto the back of Verstappen. So we might yet have a fight for fourth as well. Oh, it's a great exit for Sainz as he pulls alongside Gasly. He's going to have the inside into Tosa. Can he get the drive up the hill? Gasly fighting back. Some great driving going on here. Two laps left. Still a lot to play for. Oh, someone's gone wide.
Someone's run wide.
It's Yuki. So it's Yuki Tsunoda who's tucked up behind Verstappen.
The focus on Tsunoda. Oh dear, dear, dear.
Oh, now that is crucial, because that might drop him out of DRS by the end of the lap and into the clutches of Hamilton, which means that Hamilton might potentially get a run onto the back of Verstappen in the dying moments of the final lap. There it is. There's the gap. Yuki is going to give DRS to Hamilton here. So he's going to have a chance to try and close that gap a bit more to Verstappen. Still think it's just a bit too much. But this is going to be another real heavyweight battle between these two if he can get onto the back of them. He's got the gap down to 1.5 seconds. He carries that extra momentum through Tamburello. I still think that gap's a bit too big. If we look further down, Sainz still behind Gasly. Russell still just ahead of Perez. No lunges into Tosa. And yeah, Hamilton is too far behind. Alonso is about to win the race. Leclerc's going to be third, Magnussen second. Verstappen's going to get fourth, Hamilton fifth, but it's still all to play for here. As Perez has a look at the outside, going into the hairpin, into the chicane, can't make the move, but he's still got one more chance.
Alonso has done it! Fernando Alonso is today's Grand Prix winner. Here's the replay. It's all over. Fernando Alonso picks up first place.
There'll be celebrations tonight after a performance like that. They've done themselves and the team proud.
And this time it's Alonso who gets the hat-trick of pole, fastest lap and the win. Right, is there going to be any drama into Ravazza here on the final corners?
Yeah, good job, guys.
He's not quite close enough. So Russell's going to bring it home in sixth, ahead of Perez, Gasly. Sainz losing out horrendously in this race. Ocon's going to get the final points paying position, or is he? That's close as well. Yes, he is. He's going to hold off Norris and Bottas. There we go. What a Grand Prix. Lots of close battles all the way to the end there. As we ride on board with Alonso as he cruises his way back to the pits. We're just waiting for Ricciardo and Stroll to cross the line. That's Ricciardo, Stroll coming through the final corner now. And there we go. Joe, Tsunoda, Vettel, Schumacher lapped once, Latifi lapped twice. And another 1-2 for the team.
What a flawless weekend here from Fernando Alonso. His team must be proud.
He looks happy.
This podium is a true recognition of everyone who's been working so hard for this result.
Little tribute to Vettel there.
And the talented veteran rounds off another great drive, adding to his impressive F1 podium tally. You've got to say it was a solid drive from all three of them up there. A fantastic showcase for Formula One. HAAS there having a very successful day at the races.
That's right, the team really deserves to celebrate this success before looking ahead to the next race.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the constructor standings.
Coming up next, the teams will be taking a trip to the Sunshine State. The Hard Rock Stadium is laying down the track for a captivating race at the Miami Grand Prix.
So there we go, another 1-2. The win, fastest lap and pole position all go to Fernando Alonso as he closes the gap back up to his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Charles Leclerc finishing third, Max in fourth, Hamilton fifth, Russell sixth, Perez up one place to seventh, Gasly also improves to eighth. Everyone else holding position from where they started. Sainz dropping 2 places, Ocon climbing 2 places to round out the top 10, and then below that, the second half of the grid, we have Norris, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll, Zhou, Tsunoda, Vettel and Schumacher, and bringing up the rear, Nicholas Latifi. In the driver's standings, Magnussen hanging on to top spot by way of getting his win first. That's the only reason that he's still ahead. As you can see, 2 wins, 2 fastest laps, 3 pole positions for Kevin. 2 wins, 2 fastest laps, and 1 pole position for Fernando Alonso. So that's the only real difference between the two in terms of how they finished, is just the pole positions. 3-1 now in qualifying to Magnussen. Leclerc 28 points behind, another 3rd place for him. That's his 4th 3rd place of the season. Sainz only picking up 2 points. That's going to hurt Ferrari in the constructors race. Perez 5th place. Some decent points for Max, as you can see, moving closer to his teammates. Another good result for Hamilton, keeps him within just a point of Max Verstappen, and a good result for Russell as well, keeps him within striking distance. Gasly gets 4 points to move him ahead of Bottas and into 9th. Ocon moves up above Albon with a single point, and we still have multiple drivers yet to score. In the constructors, once again, another maximum points haul for Haas. Sees us move clear of Ferrari. Red Bull actually outscoring them by a point, but Mercedes keeping them honest and keeping them evenly spaced, the same number of points, still just 9 points between those two. We now have an 80-point lead over Ferrari. Alpine, another 5 points for them, sees them jump Alfa Romeo, moving on to 13 points. Still no points for McLaren, Aston or Williams. We have an exceptional race result for Fernando and for Kevin. He gets a development point. You can see he's outscoring or out-earning points on a ratio of 3-1 over Fernando there. And we obviously get some more points for Logan as well. Once again, we pay Kevin 440,000. That's going to happen every single race he finishes, effectively. It's going to bankrupt us if we're not careful. And we get all of our sponsors done as well. So the performance incentives, we max the qualifying streak to give us a nice little payout there. We complete the rest of our incentives, and then with our guarantees, we achieve all 3 of those as well. So a nice 5.8 million added to the kitty after expenses. And we head to Miami next. So I think we have an upgrade due to drop. Board are now extremely happy with us. Let's check in with the board. You can see they are absolutely delighted with the run of results that we've been having all the way back to Singapore there. Objectives, we are complete on last season's objective and the long-term objective as well. And in terms of this season, we are currently on target for both of those as well. We are just 2 podium races away from achieving the long-term objective again. So doing very, very well. We do need to get 3rd in the constructors, but we are comfortably leading that championship right now. Car development report. There you can see we have lost a little bit of speed. Our engine cooling has dipped a little bit as well. We do have a new ATR period starting. And here come the sex bots. Hide user on the channel. And report. There we go. Right. So, where were we? Yes, new ATR period. Our team hub is now in poor condition, but I think that's in the middle of an upgrade, if I remember rightly. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. We have started the upgrade. Still 40 days away, effectively. So a little while till that fixes itself. The race simulator not too far off now. The car park test centre upgrade's going through nicely. Do we have any points? Not yet. Over here, we do have a point for Kevin. I'm going to put one more point, no, 2 more points into his control, and then we'll put everything else back into his pace again. As the car gets faster, having a higher control rating becomes more important. So I want to just make sure we eliminate the potential for mistakes before they become a problem. Logan is close to a point, I think. Oh no, he's way off actually. Thought he'd be closer than that. Car part development. We have a new set of wings coming in the run up to Miami. So it's advanced time. We've got some scouting done. We've scouted Matt Harmon. Because we wanted to look at the potential of replacing Resta, as his contract is fine, but at 52 years old, he is going to be thinking about retirement at some point, and we want to see who is available at a reasonable rate and similar performance when that happens. So we're just trying to cover our bases nice and early. Let's have a look. So next up would be T Trong, Rami Dolan. Who's Rami Dolan? That is a regen. I'm curious as to what he's going to be like. So let's go ahead and scout him. There's Mike Elliott still at Mercedes. Francois still at Williams. Ben Watkins, formerly of McLaren. He's not too old, but he hasn't got a lot of skill in comparison. Rami Dolan could potentially be a good long-term dark horse here. At 77 rating, he's up there. He's not too far off. He's going to be missing quite a few points in key areas, but he's only 37. So he could well progress quite nicely over the next couple of seasons. So we'll definitely keep an eye on him. What else are we scouting? I think we're scouting drivers, aren't we? Or are we scouting engineers? I think we're scouting engineers. Yes, we're scouting engineers. So Jason Pryor and Christopher Hayes currently being scouted. Again, we're just looking at what's out there, so we can see when the regens start coming in, and we can see how some of these younger engineers start to progress as well. Right, let's continue to advance some time. Low stock on side pods, that's fine, I'm not worried about that. Underfloors, we've got 3, we could probably do with another one. Suspensions, we're going to be working on new suspensions soon, so we'll hold off on that for now. New chassis, yeah, again we're holding off on that for now. There is our new rear wing. So let's view this in the warehouse. So this will have a good impact on our car. It'll boost our low speed cornering, our top speed, our acceleration, and our DRS top speed and acceleration as well. In terms of car part attributes, you can see it's a huge improvement on our old rear wing. Drag reduction massively improved. We go from 15th in medium speed cornering to 1st with this new rear wing in terms of rear wing performance. So a lot of good improvements coming with this wing. How long will it take to manufacture if we rush it? Can I get 2 in? I might be able to get 3 in actually. I can. Let's do that. Let's rush 3. So we don't have to do any emergency manufacturing. That's good. That's going to save us a little bit of cash. New ATR period, and we do now have a new slot. We've got a new suspension on the way, so we're not worried about that. That's going to come for Barcelona, I think. So what can we work on? We are going to have some high-speed changes. Don't really want to start research just yet. It's a little early. So rear wing and front wing are definitely going to be impacted by those regulation changes, but I think it might just be the wings, maybe the suspension as well, but no change affects to the underfloor, the side pods, or the chassis. We know that for a fact, so we don't have to worry about researching those parts. Maybe an underfloor towards the end of the season, but we're basically going to focus our research on the wings, and we should make big strides just with expertise in designing new parts for the ones that aren't affected. Let's have a look at a new underfloor. If we were to put all of our points in, we're going to be getting to the point where the returns that we get are going to get reduced as the performance improves. We're going to make smaller and smaller gains, but we're not there yet, which is good. I want to improve drag reduction, absolutely. We don't need to worry about airflow quite so much. I'm going to reduce that down a bit. Oh wait, no, airflow is not affected on this part. It's the wings that the airflow is going to be affected next season, so that will certainly give us a boost there. What's going to give me the best boost in terms of top speed? I think this is just going to affect cornering, isn't it? It's not going to affect... Oh, that gives us a minor tweak. If we go push that up, it's going to just have a little minor effect on our top speed. But okay, if we were to leave it like that, in fact, maybe if I were to do that and balance it completely, just focus on drag reduction. That's going to take a lot less than it would normally do, because it's a lot less going into the part to manufacture. So we were to put 5 engineers on that, we could get that in 59 days. That's pretty good. And that would be in time for Silverstone, which is a circuit where we would definitely need those improvements. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's keep it nice and simple. No major value changes. We are getting gains across all areas there, and we are definitely improving our drag reduction as well, which will help. Yeah, I'm happy with that, and it makes it about $1 million cheaper than the floors I would normally manufacture as well, which is also a good thing. So that is the first project done. We've got 4 days to go until our front wings are done, and then we can start another project. There we go. So let's view in the warehouse. Ooh, okay, so we are losing low speed performance on this one, but we are gaining massively on front airflow and brake cooling. That's interesting. It is going to have a positive impact on the car as a whole. It's going to improve our top speed. It's going to definitely improve our low speed dirty air cornering, which was important. It's going to give us an extra 1.5% on our brake cooling. It's not enough to move us up a rank, but it's enough to help improve the brakes overall. So let's go ahead and manufacture these. These will take too long if we try and rush them. Best I can do is get 1 in if I rush them. So we're going to emergency manufacture 3, so that we have 1 spare straight away, and then we're going to rush an extra 1, so that we have another spare. We'll have 2 spares then, basically, for the Grand Prix in Miami. And now we need to fill that design slot with something new. So where are we lacking? Engine cooling and top speed. We could do a new side pod. We haven't done one yet. I do want to improve engine cooling. I also want to improve drag reduction. What changes can we make to the airflow that's going to have a positive impact without hampering the cooling gain too much? See, that's going to have a big positive impact. What about the middle? See, that's also going to have a negative impact. So, I mean, that's going to boost the car, but at the expense of our cooling, which I don't really want to do. Let's try winding back a little bit of this. That has a 0 impact change to our engine cooling, which kind of defeats the whole point of doing the side pods. If we do that, that's minor gains. It's still no real improvement though. If I take a bit of drag reduction off. Oh no, we have got a gain. It's a very small one. So airflow middle is going to have a big impact on our dirty air cornering. Actually, so is the front. And that's a minimal impact on engine cooling there. What about if I were to do that? That still boosts our top speed, that still boosts our acceleration, gives us a little DRS top speed boost, still gets some gaining in cornering, but we do get a slightly more significant engine cooling impact. Yeah, we'll go with that. So 5 engineers, we want to go intense to maximise the gain. 36 days means we'll get that just in time for Baku. Nice. Bit of extra drag reduction in time for Baku. Very useful. Right, any last minute manufacturing we need to do? Probably should have done an underfloor. Let's go ahead and make another underfloor. Just in case, because I've got a feeling we are going to damage one. If not here, then certainly at Spain. We'll probably end up damaging one there. We'll just do a normal manufacturing. So we won't have a spare one, an extra spare for Miami, but we will for Barcelona. Still a way off our next set of points for those guys. Okay, I think that is everything we can get done. Car park test centre upgrade is now done. Oh, we should have waited a day. I forgot we were supposed to wait a day before we did the upgrade for the side pods, because that's the part, or that's the centre that gives it a big boost. Never mind. Ah, well. We went a day too early. I completely forgot about that. Okay, so front wing and rear wings are manufactured. Let's go ahead and install the rear wings on the car. There we go, we've got one spare now. Front wings, both cars have the new front wing. We are on our Generation 3 side pods with Generation 4 on the way. The rear wings done. Chassis, both on the 2nd gen chassis, both on the 2nd gen underfloor, both on 3rd gen suspension. So what does that do to our car going into Miami? It's put us back in terms of top acceleration and second in top speed. No real change to our brake or engine cooling. We've had minimal brake cooling gain from that front wing, but no substantial jump forward. But we have got some parts coming that will help to address that, I hope. Let's take a look at the state of our engines. The wear on this 61% and 63%. So those engines are going to be good for Miami, and they may still be good for Barcelona as well, which is really encouraging. ERS modules are fine. What about the gearboxes? They've got to be getting a bit close. 48%, 49%. So those will last through practice and possibly the race, but they're going to have to be changed definitely after Miami. Maybe before we actually go into the race itself. So there we go. That is everything we can do tonight. We are finished for our careers so far this week. We are starting a brand new career tomorrow, and as promised, it is based on the votes that you have been casting. So I'm going to close the poll now. It is officially going to be a youth career. You guys want me to suffer, so we are going to be starting a new career tomorrow on option 1, the youth category, where we'll be driving with Aston Martin, and our drivers will be Freddie Vesti and Felipe Drugovich. So the main rules that we'll be following in that career: main drivers can only be changed at the end of their contracts. Obviously that is not going to apply to us at the very beginning, because we've got to get rid of Seb and get rid of Lance to bring Drugovich and Vesti into the team. But once that's happened, we can only change our main drivers when their contracts expire. We can't pay off part of the contract. So if we get some buyer's remorse after 2 seasons, 3 seasons, and we decide we want to try and get a different driver, we're going to have to wait until whichever driver we want to replace, their contract has expired. Doesn't mean we can't buy out contracts of drivers at other teams. We just can't buy out the contracts of our own drivers. Those rules will not apply to reserve drivers. We can chop and change reserve drivers as we feel, but we can only promote them into a race seat if the driver he's replacing is out of contract. So that's the first main rule. Second rule, staff can only be changed at the end of their contracts once we reach Bahrain in Season 1. So that gives us a little window before the first race to make some staffing changes. But once that happens, once we reach Bahrain itself, we can't then change any staff until their contracts expire. That goes for head of aero, technical chief, race engineers. We can't change any of them until their contracts expire. Development is limited to a maximum of 2 major upgrades per part per season. So a major upgrade is going to be a part that uses MAU hours and or wind tunnel hours. Obviously it's up to us how we allocate those, but we can only do 2 major upgrades. So if we wanted to do 2 big floor upgrades, we could only do that, twice. We couldn't put everything into a 3rd floor upgrade. We could do a minor floor upgrade with no hours spent on it if we wanted to. But we'll be limiting it to a maximum of 2, at least in Season 1, and then in Season 2 I may even reduce that down to just 1. We'll see how that goes, see how quickly the car develops. So minor upgrades where we use no hours and we just use the sliders, there's no restrictions on those. So we can have 3, 4, 5, 6 different suspensions if we want, as long as we haven't put any hours into them. And rule number 4, car development facilities can only be upgraded once per season. Now, when I initially did that, when I initially wrote that rule, I was thinking along the lines of these facilities here, each one of them could be upgraded once per season. But now I'm thinking, instead of doing that, where we could potentially do all 6 departments once a season, we now limit it to just 2 upgrades in the entire block per season. So and each department can only be upgraded once. So we could maybe do the design center once, and then with our remaining upgrade we could maybe do the suspension simulator, and then that would be it for the season. So we couldn't go 2 into the design center, and we would only be able to make 2 in that entire category. So I'll think about that overnight and I'll confirm whether or not we're doing that tomorrow. And like I said, I will consider additional rules that you guys suggest if you want to put any restrictions on me. So let me know in the comments of the poll that is on my community tab, because that's going to be the easiest place to keep track of those suggestions. And if I like them and I think they'll work quite well with the series, then I will add those in as well. But let's keep them realistic. Let's not be complete sadists on this. So that's where we are for tonight, and that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. So I'll be starting slightly earlier tomorrow night. I'll be starting at 10 p.m. because we've got a lot of prep to get through in that first episode, and we'll go over the rules again once we get started. So we'll be starting at 10 p.m. UK time tomorrow, half an hour earlier than I normally start. So until then, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jabob, and I'll be back with some more F1 Manager 22 very soon.